All right, you were live.
All right, hey there everyone, my name is DemonicRobots and welcome to Control. This is a third-person shooter from Remedy, the guys who made Max Payne, Alan Wake, Quantum Break, and I think some kind of racing game in the past, but that doesn't matter. I'm joined by my fellow commentators here if you guys would like to introduce yourselves.
Hey, my name's DE Cosmic, and I speedrun a bunch of action games like Devil May Cry and Vanquish.
Hi, I'm Bucky. I speedrun this game, but in the inbounds category.
Right. So we're going to get started here. Normally we start from a new game. However, you guys voted for a costume incentive. We're going to be going with the Astral Dive Suit, which, fun fact, this is PS4 exclusive, but they left it in the files of the PC version. So we have a save set up there that's going to be at the start. Time is going to begin after we skip the opening cutscene. Essentially, we are visiting the oldest house. It is a shifting house that is bigger on the inside than it is the outside and hosts a government body. And we are currently there looking for our missing brother of 17 years. We also have a voice in our head, but we'll ignore that for now. And time is going to start right...
Fair warning.
now. All
This
right,
is
so
be weirder.
welcome to the
Hello?
Federal Bureau of Control, also known as
Anyone
the FBC. This is a government body that is inspired by
Federal Bureau
SCP,
of
which is like, secure,
All
contain,
these
protect.
years
It's
I've
a
been
bunch of
looking for
copy
them, and they
pastas
were hiding
regarding
in plain
paranormal
sight.
objects and
Hey,
entities. So it takes a lot of
I've done
inspiration
enough
from
night shift
those.
loner jobs
Think of
to
it
know
as
makes us come off weird.
a bit of a nicer one,
Talk to the
though.
janitor as a
They're
friendly
not as
face in my
malicious
book,
as the
the cell,
SCP's
and a
organization in
poster.
those.
I was 11
So,
years old the first time I
essentially
saw
what's going to
behind
be
the poster.
happening is throughout the
They
game we're
told
going to be
me I
gaining new
imagined
abilities
it.
as we continue on through
been
the
trying to
facility.
pull
We're
it
going to
down
gain a
ever
bunch of
since.
powers. And a general rule of thumb
Will
is
you
going to be
help?
whenever we get a new power that we can use, we are going to use it to break the game almost immediately in some way, shape, or form. And some of these powers allow us to really break the game.
Did I lose you
But
there
for now,
a
we
moment?
don't have any of our
You know
abilities,
what's on my
so
mind.
therefore
I
we
think you'd
can't really
rather
do too
Dylan.
much. So up until about
17.
the
Shit.
6.5, 7-minute marker. This is essentially the same route as inbounds. So the difference with the categories is also we just teleported by touching a gun. Makes perfect sense. So the difference between the categories, so there's kind of two main categories right now at the moment. There is any percent standard and then any percent inbounds. The difference between standard and inbounds is that in standard we are allowed to go out of bounds and do tricks regarding that, and then inbounds you are not allowed to go out of bounds. You have to stay within the collision of the map where you're supposed to be. So it's basically a little bit close to glitchless, but there are a couple of glitches in some of the categories. So that's the main difference. We're going to be doing any percent here, which means we're going to be doing a lot of these super cool out of bounds tricks. They'll kind of look like some of the ones that Matt was doing in Blade. But this fight is the first kind of combat area, and you'll notice that I looked over in this specific location. There is a reason for that that'll allow Bucky to explain.
Yeah, so when enemies are spawning in, it's going to spawn another enemy wave that uses the camera location and where you're looking to choose where they're going to spawn in. So you're going to see him looking around kind of weird running into a lot of these fights. Like this one coming up, he's going to be looking almost completely backwards, so they spawn in this corner next to him. And he's going to try and keep his distance straight and keep him sort of spawning over on distance. He's just fast if they, yeah, he's pretty left, so it's one by the door, so this stuff. There you go. And you're going to keep seeing that all throughout the run, even if it doesn't look very obvious.
Hissing sound that tried to
All the
invade
combat
me
scenarios
earlier.
are pretty similar.
Kiss.
They have the same spawns and things like that.
Everything in this place.
So, like, we always have this guy. This is not a boss. This is kind of a sub-boss. It's a more powerful common enemy, but it's not a boss. Bosses have health bars, and we actually skip most of them. Casually, you're supposed to run... You're forced to fight 2 bosses casually. There are 10 bosses total in the Legacy patch that is the one we're running. We're only going to be fighting 1 of them. But first, we're going to take this control point. Cosmic, do you want to explain what these do?
The control points, this is just where she cleanses the hiss, I believe, which is the infection that's inside the SCP, and that allows Jesse to, I guess, just, well, you know, open up more of the map, and that's like how you expand more into the rest of, like, because this is a Metroidvania, so this is not only how you get checkpoints, but it's also how you just open up more of the map.
Exactly. Yeah, think of them like bonfires from Dark Souls. You can use them to heal up and fast travel, as well as upgrade your abilities. So that's going to be the main use for them in this run. You're also going to be seeing me skipping a lot of this dialogue. We do it line by line because we have to. That's kind of how the game wanted it. You're also going to see me quit out here. This is timed by RTA without loads. So this is kind of just the strat to do. It basically sets us back at the control point. So whenever we save quit and continue, when we load back in, we'll be at a control point. And this is usually faster RTA. That one's one of the few examples actually where it's slower than RTA, but I'm doing it anyway because, you know, it's part of the speed run and it's kind of force of habit at this point. But here we go, more combat optimization. This way.
This spawn manip stuff was definitely one of the things that I didn't even realize was happening when I was first watching runs of this game until, like, I think the devs actually said it, like, in their speedrun reaction to Brian Otto's run. And I had no idea what was going on because it's really something that's not mentioned a whole lot.
Yeah. It's something that you could watch runs a lot of entirely, but if you never run the game, you wouldn't actually know about them.
Yeah, and especially coming from Devil May Cry and Vanquish and stuff, where enemies are kind of set in where they're supposed to come in. It was very interesting to learn that the game actually allowed you to, I guess, sort of customize the fights to your own liking, so to speak.
Also, we have a really nice sound effect right here, my favorite in the game.
We're on the right track.
Bonk.
Bonk.
So we currently have a floppy disk throwing items at us. It is launching them, and it actually has nuclear launch codes. So we do a little skip to get up here, and then we touch the floppy disk, and now we can throw things with our minds. Makes perfect sense. So these are like
got Doom on it, dude. I guarantee.
Yeah. So basically, these objects that are like the SCP objects. Jessie is kind of special. She picked up the service weapon, which decides who is the entire director of the Federal Bureau of Control. So she basically went from being the janitor's assistant to the director of the FBC in about like 5 seconds, which I think is probably the fastest rise that you've ever heard for a CEO to gain power. But because she's able to hold the weapon without it killing her, she's the director. So she's kind of special and can use objects that are SCP things and basically, you know, do some wacky stuff with them. So that's kind of how she gains her powers throughout the in-game.
You don't even need any learning from the parents, dude. You just gotta go and that's it.
Alright, so this is the first skip. If you want to claim this, Bucky.
Yeah, so just like any game where you have props that you can move around, you can use these to clip out of bounds and your map and stuff. Trying to position this box over his head and jump through it, drop it in such a way so the game sort of pushes you up to the floor here.
Come on, it's annoying.
When he gets this done, right, it will skip.
There we go.
There we go. Yeah.
So normally there's a boss in here named Tomasi, who's actually kind of difficult. A lot of casual players really struggled there. And as long as we don't touch the lower floor, we can just completely skip it.
Yeah, the recurring theme in this game is anytime you get a new ability, we immediately use it to break the game in half.
Yeah.
And
we also have the greatest skip names. That skip name is called No Mossy because we don't see Tomasi, so it's No Mossy.
No.
Also, this is the Ocean View Motel. It's essentially like a little puzzle area to kind of help break up the game. So we use this to activate a drawbridge, basically. And, you know, it adds a little bit more to the creepiness. If you like Twin Peaks, that's kind of the vibe that this game goes for. So now we have the hotline. This is going to allow us to communicate with a mysterious figure called the Board. It is a abnormal entity that kind of controls the oldest house. You can see it's the Black Pyramid right there. This object doesn't do anything gameplay-wise, but story-wise, it allows Jessie to communicate both with the Board and with Director Trench, who was the dead guy that we saw at the very beginning, where he picked up his gun. We can actually communicate with him even though he's dead because of the bullet from the service weapon that is in his brain. So it just lets us do that, you know, casually. But, Yeah, and then when we come up here, we're gonna do our first real save quit. This one saves a lot of time, RTA and without loads. So we do that, and it's gonna teleport us all the way over to here, back to where we were near the start of this area.
I always think whenever you say that line that the bullet in his head is what allows us to communicate him. I'm like, I'm gonna process that properly this time. But nope, never, never, ever.
Yeah, it's
game is
hard
a
to
trip.
explain. It's a very weird game. So if you like weird games, then this is like a triple A weirdness. Like this is literally triple A SCP. I'm also just gonna move. Normally we do a quit out there, but I just forgot it's a marathon. We are gonna use this.
Twin Peaks, dude.
Seems like it's coming from the house.
So this is gonna be probably the coolest skip in the game for a lot of people to watch. I'm probably not gonna get it. No one's ever gotten it like this in a marathon, so I'll let Bucky explain it.
Hopefully he gets this, but what he's going to try and do is he's going to try and overlap these two menus between the elevator and his loadout. And when he gets that, he's going to go over and play a multimedia file, and then close the menus and switch floors, and that'll do something pretty interesting when he can get it to work. You know, hopefully it'll work. It's pretty marathon shy, but we'll see. But
So
I'm sure it looks really weird what he's doing, but
Like I said before,
provided it works, it'll
the janitor is
make sense in a second.
Yeah, I don't know what it is about this glitch that just like it just doesn't want to show up during marathons.
it's so weird. And even if it does work, you can soft lock sometimes. Oh, we got it! Yes!
Oh
yes,
my
we
God.
did it!
Is that the
All
first,
right.
Is that the first slidey out
Oh,
of
that's
marathon?
awesome, yeah.
This is amazing. I wasn't expecting this. All right, so we're gonna be doing some things here. So welcome to Slidey McGunny. Friendship over with Jesse. Slidey is our new friend. So we're gonna be doing a couple things here. So we get into the stage because what we can do is use to clip through our camera, and we can open that later on. So that's gonna help us out a lot when we're coming back through here. I'm gonna grab this fridge because we actually need to clip out of bounds. So we're gonna come all the way over here, and hopefully I don't mess this up. I didn't expect this. So for whatever reason, if you overlap your gun in your menu right over there, it just breaks the game and you turn into a gun. So now we can just use that to clip out of bounds, and then we just kind of run all the way over here.
That's so good, dude.
This saves about 10 seconds. It's kind of a swag strat, and it makes this area a lot harder. So I'm gonna let Bucky do most of the talking here. I am so shocked that we got this.
Yeah, that is the first slidey of the marathon, I'm pretty sure. But
Oh, yeah, we gotta get
gonna be clipping out of bounds with this piece of the forklift. He's gonna be climbing up on top and doing some of the first out of bounds navigation in the run, which is basically boils down to trying to hit triggers so the mission continues and you can progress.
Ah, we went back in bounds. That's fine.
Okay.
Yeah, my camera's kind of messed up, so it makes this area a lot harder.
Yeah, he's not used to this, I'm sure. It's definitely disorienting when you're trying to clip out like this.
Does the gun still maintains like her actual hurt box, right? Like all of her collisions with the environment, or is it slightly different?
It's slightly different, but it's
I
not
believe
super different.
I believe camera collision's the only thing affected, right? I could be
Yeah.
wrong about that.
It should only be the camera. Also, we just did another skip right there, so we're doing the only side mission in the game because this ability allows us to save so much time later on. Also, it completely breaks her dialogue. So yeah, we're just a gun, kind of just sliding around, just having a good time.
Yeah, sorry, I forgot to explain. This is gonna be like the only movement-based ability we're gonna get. It's a dash that we're gonna be using throughout the rest of the run.
Yeah.
And you know, just like always, anytime we get an ability, it's gonna instantly break the game in half, as you're about to see.
Oh man, I did not expect to get this. I don't even know if I can do Astral Blink.
Good luck.
Let's see.
Don't be gun shy now.
Oh, we can save this. Oh no, I messed it up. We can. That's fine.
Okay, so he's doing something called the Astral Blink, which basically he dashes out and gets stuck in the collision of those walls, or that's what he was doing. And something about this game is whenever you're stuck inside of a wall, it sort of like or pushes you up to try and get you unstuck. And if you're stuck in a wall, it just, elevators you all the way up to the top of the wall. So that's what's going on there. You can use that to get up and skip like 10 or 15 seconds there. Or it's not that much.
Yeah, we still saved time because we got like half of it. We kind of hit a fall plane, so it teleported us back.
I'm just stoked we got fighting.
Yeah, this
Yeah,
glitch
right,
is so
same.
cool, and we can actually use it to skip Ahti. So normally we talk to Ahti, the janitor, who's the guy that we saw at the very beginning, but we can just kind of come over here and I don't know the like perfect angle for it. Open it from the wall because this game is Metroidvania, so it has like all these shortcuts. And there we go, we're good.
Very
He's
nice.
got to go all the way out here to hit a trigger that's going to set up the rest of the map so he can go and complete the level. But once you get to this point in the mission, you can basically go and complete it if you can push the button.
Yeah. So we go all the way there for.
So we open the door, we can just dash right over there.
Yeah, but sadly though, no more Slidey. Jesse has returned. I'm so glad that we got that in a run. So basically, we went there for two reasons. We went there to hit a soft lock trigger to make sure that we don't get here in soft lock. And then we also wanted to get our evade ability because it's so much faster for stuff later on. So, ooh, nice bolter.
I guess with the existence of Slidey at this point, it's a pretty good time to mention that this game is typically ran for this category anyway on the earliest available patch, which I believe is 0.96.
Yep.
And
which is the press release pass, by the way.
Yeah,
it's not even
yeah.
the retail one.
Yep. And during later patches, the developers, in order to increase functionality of the game, this wasn't like them doing this was not a shot at speedrunners. They're very supportive of the speedrun community. They made it so that you couldn't accidentally overlap menus or anything, which in turn kind of took away the ways that they typically did Slidey, especially during that section. Yeah, as far as we know, anyway.
Yeah.
They did say you can still do Slidey and current fast. We just don't know how to do it.
Right. Like they don't even know what it happened, like how it works. Like they kind of told us like what? So because of that, like what ended up happening is the menus in this game are kind of funky. So on current patches, they improved them, and that's what happened. But they weren't like directly trying to patch this.
The other differences between 0.96 and current is some shielded enemies only take one hit to get rid of their shield, right?
Yes, so in this game, you have the service weapon, which is the pistol we have. It has unlimited ammo, it just needs to recharge. However, when you are shooting shielded enemies, so when they have the white health bar above the red health bar, or yellow, I have it as, you basically do like no damage to them. So the way to go around that is to either launch an object at them or to melee them. It's also worth noticing that evade and launch use the same energy bar. So if I run out of energy, like by evading, then I can't launch. But here we go. We're going to do probably my favorite skip in the game. This is called Screamy Skip. Because we scream a...
right?
This is, yeah, technically two skips. Two fight skip and then Screamy Skip. Oh, this can be fun. Can I move this? All right, we're good.
Okay, so we clicked on and he's doing more out of bounds navigation, hitting triggers to progress. Who's out here?
Not yet.
Oh, you got it.
Come on. There we go. Can I save this?
Got ahead of myself.
We're good.
Yeah, so he's trying to hit triggers that skip two fights you have to do at the very start of the level. Which is why it's called two fight skip. And then he's going to navigate to a point and drop down into a very specific spot so he hits another trigger, which he then uses to do some tricky out of bounds movement.
There we go, we're good.
The rooms. And sorry, the delay, I can't see where you're at.
It's really dark in there. Jeez.
Yeah, so right now we're doing some out of bounds navigation. You're gonna see me like doing some very specific movement, like right here. I want to touch this wall without touching it too much. If I touch it too much, there we go, then I'll end up getting stuck. And if I don't touch it enough, then we don't hit the trigger. I might have missed one, but I'm not too sure. We'll see.
When the radio says something.
Yeah.
But he's trying to skip a little puzzle with a astral enemy or entity or something. Call him Screamy Boy because he screams a lot. But
Oh, I got
he's
it.
very
Nice.
slow on this version. Nice, you got it. But that saves like what, a minute, 2 minutes?
Yeah, it saves a good chunk of time. So we got some more fighting. We're gonna get rid of those guys first. They are teleporting guys who will throw things at you. Not very fun.
And the healing orbs will heal enemies until like in the area until you kill them.
Yep. And then we're just gonna go bowling right there. Got a 3 pin, not too bad. We want to kill 6 enemies here. 3, 6. Yep, we're good. So we're gonna do a little coyote jump right here. Grab this, drag through. So even if I don't launch an object, it can still do damage. So if the object is behind an enemy, I can actually like pull it through them and it does damage like right there. So it can actually save you a launch. And that's a lot of combat optimization is doing stuff like that, where you just kind of drag through and hit an enemy. And if you get really good at it, you can save a lot of time.
The combat optimization comes down to resource management with your ammo and your energy pool, and getting collaterals with those launches on top of those pools.
Yeah. That was actually a really good fight.
Yeah, that was good.
Yeah, that was good. That's one of my favorite fights in the run.
We got another one. This is going to be the a new introduction to an enemy. So these guys are actually not too bad. Essentially what happens is if they get near you, they will explode like that. So they can do a lot of damage, but as long as you're careful, then you're usually okay. And that's a good example of a pull through right there. Also, this elevator does not go up.
Example of a pull through kills 2 people with 1 launch. And yeah, the elevators in the FBC are pretty interesting, to say the least.
This is kind of in lore, actually.
It moves sideways, yeah.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Promise.
This is an optional control point. However, we need to come back here later, so it's faster to grab it now. Now we're going to talk to Marshall. Marshall is the head of operations, and what she's trying to do is she's trying to get to the HRA lab. If you notice that those guys over there and all the other employees who are not HISS clusters or HISS enemies, you'll see what they're doing is they are wearing these like kind of vest jacket things. Those are I didn't even hit them. There we go. They are HRAs or hedge run resonance anchors. And essentially they make it so that they do not turn into these HISS bad guys. So right now we're securing it so that we can make more of them, and so everyone ends up doing kind of pretty okay.
What's the next material?
Yeah, because like there's still people in like safe rooms and stuff like that they're trying to get out. So they kind of want those fixed, you know, as soon as they can.
He's also trying to keep these rangers alive, and they help a lot. The fights are doing that.
Yeah.
Now a good time for a quick donation?
After this fight, really quick.
Okay.
So this is one of the bigger enemies. The like I call them sub bosses. So as you can see, he has a shield that we're gonna break down. This is the big difference between 1.0 and 0.96. Is I can break his shield in 1 hit instead of 2. I'm also gonna be looking this way because it's gonna spawn enemies over there. If I'm looking at him from the other way, then they spawn in the opposite direction, which isn't good.
Far side of the room, yeah. We want them close to where we need to be.
Right, and then one last guy. There we go, perfect. I'm gonna check and see if I got a dodge efficiency on. I did not, that sucks. And yeah, now we have a moment here. They're just gonna do a little quick puzzle, so now is a good time for donations.
Perfect. We had 2 quick donations. $5 donation from Coke right at the end of the last run, who says, "I love you, Pointy, and I'm so proud of you." And we had a $10 donation from Bill Chamber, who says, "Floating gun is my favorite costume in Control." I actually agree. So.
I'm so glad we got that. That is the first time that we've ever gotten that specific Slidey in a marathon. Okay. Every other time it was shy, but I finally broken the curse. Brian Nato, another really good runner of this game, was able to get a GDQ in a different way. The one that we did saves time. The one that he did does not save time, but it looks really cool. It also makes that area way harder than him, so I could not do the second one. But yeah, it's a very fun trick. We still have no idea how it works, and it's kind of more of a swag strat at this point. The run isn't optimized enough to where it's really worth it unless you get it like first try on the menuing. And hitting that menu is actually frame perfect, and I'm running this game at a pretty high frame rate, like 70 or 80 frames usually, so it can get quite difficult there. But it's hilarious to look at.
Oh, for sure. It's definitely a marathon trick. Showboating.
Yeah. Most of the time, runners will go for it. Like, they'll try and get the menu overlap, and if they don't get the menu overlap first try, then they'll just keep on going and eat the time loss.
Glad that it exists, though, because it is sort of an insight into the way the game functions, at least on some level.
Yeah, and that it doesn't function.
Oh, fair enough.
You don't see it in this game a lot, but when I'm navigating out of bounds, I usually have to take very specific pathing. I'm not going straight towards like where I need to go exactly, because what I need to do is I need to hit really specific triggers that are placed along the map. If you don't have it, it soft locks. Like it's really easy to soft lock on that level. Like there's times where you'll like do it exactly the same as like you do it all the time, and then you'll pop out of the wall and you'll realize you're soft locked, and then your run's dead, and you're just like, I didn't do anything different than I normally do, which is great. It's not even a game where like you can be like, all right, I accidentally missed this trigger. It's like, where's the trigger? I hit it. I walked right on it.
You gotta get yourself one of those hitbox viewers, man.
This run's very deceivingly difficult for sure. Like a lot of tech just won't work, and it's hard to understand why until you have enough time with it.
Yeah, and along with that, with the combat, it's based on your level, kind of. You don't have a level in game, but the enemies are, and there's only one difficulty. They did add in like accessibility options for current patch, but those are banned because it's like one tap and immunity and stuff like that. Also, we're gonna do a skip here called boxing and exploding. Oh god, okay, we're good. I almost went out of bounds there. That is actually allowed in inbounds because you're not clipping through like walls or anything like that normally. You're just clipping through the box, so it's allowed.
There's a way to do it on current patch too. It's just very tricky that it's hard to. I don't know, it's not even worth going for, I thought.
Yeah, usually the setups for current patch, like a lot of these tricks you can still do on current patch, but you just have to do them in a slower way.
It's like a workaround, sort of.
Mm-hmm. But inbound legacy, like you can do that exact trick and it's totally okay. Saves like what, 20 seconds, I would say.
Yeah.
I meant to ask earlier, since you were looking for a certain mod that you had, is there ever like, how do I put this? Is there ever like
exclusive tricks for it?
Like, well, I guess it's like, do you ever have to like kill a run because you don't get certain mods, or like how does that play into the run?
No.
Not really. That's the only one that we want, that we really like are not guaranteed to get. And even then, it just means I don't get a dodge later on, an extra dodge, which doesn't really affect the run too much. But this trick definitely affects the run. This is the worst trick in the entire game, and I hate it so much. This is called Who is a Reach. So I'm trying to clip out with this object. Clipping out in this game is relatively the same for a majority of objects, but it depends on the object, how easy or how difficult or how consistent it is. This is the worst object in the game. It's the only one in the area that we can get. So we use that to clip out of bounds, and then we have some really tricky out of bounds navigation here. So I'm gonna be quiet for a second.
He's once again trying to hit some triggers, and he's skipping a big fight in this room. We call this Who's a Reach skip because between all the skips and stuff in the third level and this skip right here, we never see a character in the game named a Reach, so we call this skip Who's a Reach.
Yeah. So normally we're supposed to see him when we're at Slidey in that area. However, we do the entire sequence. It isn't really. It's like a bunch of skips and glitches. So we just call it the lazy assistant route because we're supposed to be doing something for Ati, but we're being a lazy assistant. And then that one's Who is a Reach, because normally you're supposed to see him there again, but we don't. Also, these enemies are annoying. I'm going to try and get the proper pull-throughs. Oh, it's annoying. I'm trying to get the proper pull-throughs. I go with a different energy route than a lot of the other runners. There we go.
Yeah, he doesn't actually launch, right?
Yeah, I can only miss 2 pull-throughs on that guy, or I can only miss 1, and I missed 2 there, sadly.
Oh, I meant to add on to what you were saying about the enemies, them having levels. The other thing I forgot to mention about combat optimization is the entire time through the run, like the abilities you pick, the loadout you go with, like the mods and stuff, it's like your goal is basically trying to get around the fact that the game is balanced to such a way that if you're speedrunning it, you're under leveled pretty much the entire time. Because you know, they wanted you to explore around and find better stuff, and we just don't do that. So. Yeah,
like you can put mods on the guns, you can mod your character, all that stuff. You're supposed to be, so the service weapon is actually, it's a pistol, but you have the same gun for the entire run and the entire game. However, you can morph it into different things, like a sniper, a machine gun, a grenade launcher, all that good stuff. We don't do that in the 80% route usually. You could do it with, you could get Shatter, which is the shotgun, but we just like I just don't go for it usually. It's not worth the time save. Because
Very-
usually we just launch.
Yeah, it's pretty rare to get even with the pre-order materials that we have recently allowed. They give you 2
Yeah.
every rare crafting material. It's still rare to get what you need to craft other weapon for.
Yeah.
was
Especially with
actually
how
gonna
little
ask
fighting
you.
there is here.
I was actually going to ask if Shatter was still on the route because I remember seeing it a lot during like very early days. I would always see Shatter.
Yeah, it's just not worth it. The only in all bosses, which is a really fun category, we normally like to get Pierce. It's not required, but it does save like 30 seconds throughout the run.
I go for Pierce and Endbound just because it's nice to have in general. Because like you asked, there's no point in a run where you quit because you don't have any mods or anything. Like you don't need a mod. It's just if you have a damage mod or something, it gives you breathing room, I suppose. Same goes for the weapon form.
Whoa.
Yeah, and like the thing is, normally you're supposed to space out a lot of your upgrades. However, we kind of just dump all of our points into launch at the very beginning, and that basically makes us so we're set with the launch ability for a good majority of the game.
Yeah, next
Also-
level's the first one where you're kind of underleveled. You start to notice it.
Yep. So right now we are getting Blackrock. This is kind of an anti OOP material. It doesn't really explain it, but basically it makes the spooky weird stuff not spooky or weird.
This is what they use to make those HRAs, right?
Yes, and that's also what they use to protect them from the hits. So like instead of SCPs, they're called OOPs, Object of Powers. Oops. As Dr. Darling would say. And those are like, you know, they could be anything from a rubber duck, a projector, a coffee thermos, like stuff like that.
The game describes it as like any object that is culturally significant or something to that effect is an object that's likely to be an OOP. That's also where our
Exactly.
abilities come
An
from.
archetype. Yeah.
Yeah, this game's story and lore might sound weird, but it's very well fleshed out and developed.
Yeah, and you definitely shouldn't be discouraged from, you know, like playing it casually since you're watching the speedrun right now. You miss out on a lot watching these runs.
We skip
For sure.
a lot of content. There's, I think, like 22 missions, and 12 of them are, or I think even more than that, are side missions
Yeah.
that we just
And
don't
then-
do.
That's not even like including the DLC.
Yeah. All right. Here's one of my favorite tricks. I'm gonna let Bucky explain this.
Yeah, so first he's going to clip out with this explosive here, and this is kind of a tricky... Oh, he got it pretty quick. And then he's got to do some tricky movement. We don't have all of our movement abilities yet. Once he gets that, I'll explain next.
No. So
Yeah, well-
what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to dash there, and I can't lose any height. And this game likes to eat inputs when you're dashing, so that's what happened there.
Yeah, if you push dash like just a frame too early, then when it's ready, it will just eat the input. And you have like a 0.1 second cooldown or something, so you lose height that way. But yeah, the movement here is really tricky. But coming up is going to be a glitch called a Nume, which is what happens when you mantle while in a mantle. I'm not entirely sure how that one works, but when you get this to happen in certain spots, the game will warp you to like the 000 coordinate of the current cell, because
Like this.
yeah, it's just like that. The levels in this game are stitched together from little segments, and anytime you do a Nume, it warps you to the center of that individual segment of the level. I guess think of it like cells from Skyrim or whatnot. But he's gonna Nume and then eventually drop down into the end of the Ocean View Motel segment in this mission, which is why we call this skip Ocean Nume Motel, right?
Yep, or My Brother's Nume, because the mission's called My Brother's Keeper.
My brother's new.
Yeah.
Good.
It's funny because you're not supposed to get this loading screen. It's because of all the out-of-bounds stuff that the game's having to load the level faster than it's supposed to, and that's why you have a loading screen there. You wouldn't see that playing normally.
Yeah.
I've wondered about him.
So right now, speaking of my brother's keeper, we have learned that the brother that we have been missing, that's been missing for 17 years that we've been trying to find, is house tier, and he has powers like Jesse, but he's kind of vulnerable to the hiss, the evil entity. So right now, we're just trying to find our brother. This is kind of the containment center. This is basically the prison for all the objects. And Dylan. Normally they don't house humans here. He's the only one.
Some pretty scary movement there.
Yeah, you can definitely fall there. And the kill plane is literally like a foot down, so you lose any height and she just immediately crumples over and dies. Also, fun fact: if you're an Alan Wake fan, there is two Alan Wake Easter eggs in this area. I won't say what, but if you're playing Control for the first time and you liked Alan Wake, make sure to take a look. But in the meantime, we have time for maybe a quick donation if they would like to do that.
Yeah.
An unskippable cutscene too.
Got a $5 donation from Whoa Nelly, who says, "Give us a world record, Pointy, or we riot." From the previous run still. And also, yeah, $25 from Kurt's new brand, which was towards the Super Mario Land 2 randomizer randomly swapping exits option. So yeah, super appreciate that. Thank you.
Nice. Alright, so we're gonna adapt through all these guys. It's actually kind of scary. We lose our abilities here, and we can get shot with the rocket launcher. Okay, we're good. You can get a rocket all the way into this cutscene, but if you haven't seen this game, this is the only unskippable cutscene, and it's a good one.
What's the longest unskippable cutscene? It's like 2, I think, in Restaurant. Or no, 3, but the other 2 don't matter. It's all about this one.
Yeah. And one of those unskippable cutscenes also doesn't cost any time because it's considered a loading screen by the game.
Oh yeah, that's right. Nah, this one's definitely the coolest. Like, I can't complain having to watch this.
Yeah. Most of the time, Control speedrunners don't like unskippable cutscenes, but usually here, after getting like a perfect My Brother's Neum or Ocean New Motel, like usually I kind of just want a second to just like breathe.
Oh yeah. It's always good to have things like that in the game that just naturally like give you a break while you're running.
Especially right here.
Coming up here is the first boss fight, right?
Yes, I'll let you explain it.
Yeah, so this is also one of the reasons we run on 0.96 is because you can damage this guy while he's in this animation. But he's gonna be, trying to get this guy down as fast as he can, and he has to clean up all these stragglers that are sort of dangling around. And they're gonna drop one by one, I believe. But like I said before, this is a point in the game when you start to notice that you're underleveled, and it's kind of a problem. We max out launch for this level for that reason. This is when launch stops one-shotting like most common enemy types.
Yep.
Oh, good fight so far.
There we go. So I'm gonna stay in the middle here. If, the way they heal in this game is you pick up those little blue pieces. You just pick them up automatically. It's the only way you can heal in the game, and they only drop from enemies who you damage or kill. So the game incentivizes you to be very aggressive with your playstyle, which also makes it very dangerous because we can't heal unless we pick up these bees. So that's kind of why I'm standing in the middle, to make sure that even if I take damage, then it's not a big deal because I'll just be standing on health.
Yeah, most deaths are usually preceded by like being stuck out in the open with no food op. But yeah, he finished that fight. Now he cleanses the TV and he has levitate, the second movement ability. And once again, you're about to see that you break the game in half with this ability pretty much off the bat. These are retained skips compared to what we're gonna do in the next mission, but you can see here we skip about half of this astral plane challenge.
Yeah, and this is actually kind of dev intended. They were like, yeah, we thought about like making a wall there, but we're like, if people want to fly there, they just can.
Yeah, like most of the inbound skips are actually known about by their quality assurance, but they left them in. I thought they were fun.
Yeah, like the good thing about the devs is they like really were part of the community a lot. Like they didn't even patch the game until they had found a way for us to down patch their game, which is really cool. That they were
gave
like,
us a heads up even, right?
Yeah, exactly. So, and it was totally fine. Like it's a really easy game to down patch. But here we go, another little skip here. This one isn't as big as some of the others, especially with this ability, but we kind of just bounce off there and we gain the height to get to Dylan's cell, where we learn that he's not here, but he's back at Central Executive. So we'll be running back into our brother, who unfortunately has been corrupted by the hiss, but he's very different from the rest of the hiss. He's not like as crazed and as infiltrated. He's more like so we have a voice in our head as Jesse. He has the hiss as a voice in his head, and he doesn't enjoy the FBC as much as Jesse does, which is really awkward since now she's the director, so she's literally in charge of everything for it. And it's kind of funny in this game because everybody just accepts that the old director is dead, and like, hey, this is the new person you've never met before. They're the director now. Everyone's just like, yeah, happens
No
every
problem.
day.
It's standard procedure.
A surprisingly relaxed environment for this kind of thing. So we're gonna talk to Emily here. She's a researcher for Dr. Darling, who's the head researcher. She's kind of like his second in command. We actually don't know where he is, but fun fact, he's actually played by Alan Wake. The voice actor for him plays him as a real character. Also, this is us talking to our brother. He's like, go learn the truth about this place and learn about what happened with Ordinary. Ordinary is our hometown that got destroyed when they were messing around with a slide projector that was an object of power, and that's where they got separated as kids. So he's like, hey, go figure this stuff out. And this level is probably the one that we skip the most of. And it's mainly due to the fact that, like, there aren't really any... Also, I'm going to check if I have dodge ability. I don't, but I have health. I'll take that. There's not really any triggers that you need to hit in this level, which is nice. So,
Oh, I thought there were.
There are. It's only that one off the elevator, but there's like nothing that is like you have to go super out of your way for.
Well, this was one of the earliest skips found on the game. It was found pretty soon after. Like, it was in Kev's first run, I'm pretty sure. But this skips this entire mission called Face of the Enemy, which is definitely the worst mission inbound. Not only is it really long and mostly dashing around enemies, there's 3 fights in it that are all very, very challenging. The execution of the skip has changed a bit since they started doing the immune skip, but effectively it's pretty much the same. He's just navigating out of bounds and hitting triggers, maybe not hitting triggers, but he's following the intended route. Oh, okay.
Yeah. So this one's kind of a blind navigation. Sometimes you can get objects to pop in that kind of tell you where you are. I was trying to use the map there. I should have just like not, and based off of my muscle memory. It's kind of just a weird skip though, in general.
Yeah, in general, most of the game from this point on is kind of like big skips or fight, pretty much.
There we go. And then this stuff like messes it up as well.
Yeah. The thing is, after he finishes, after he gets where he's trying to go out of bounds, there's a really hard fight at the very end. That if you die, you get to do all of this all over again, which is fun.
Okay, am I good? I am like just barely good.
Okay.
Normally I have 7 dashes there, but I only have 6. So this is gonna be
I think you got the wrong thing. I don't know if you meant to get energy or not.
No,
you got
I usually
levitate.
don't. Yeah, I usually get levitate here. But I usually have a dodge efficiency mod.
Oh, okay.
Alright, so I need to hit a trigger here. This one's kind of scary.
Yeah, it's been scary.
There we go.
If you push the wrong keys trying to land onto that little pixel ledge there, you just slip right off because of the animation she's in.
Yeah, we like just take advantage of that to like just barely make it. This is also an example of our movement. So I'm gonna dash twice here, wait for it to refill, and then I'm gonna mash my dash to get over that wall. You can lose a lot of height there and not make it, so you have to kind of manage it pretty well. That's the best way to move with like maximum like saving energy and
just getting max
movement.
distance pretty much. With like a full levitate is it's just best to space out the dashes like that. Let it recharge a little bit and then just spam it.
Okay, let me land right here on these kind of little glowy bits. And then...
I'm just gonna go right into this fight.
And if the wall turns red, then we're golden. We're golden.
Perfect. Nice
I've
job.
never had it not work where I missed a trigger, and I'm waiting for the day where I mess up and it does happen.
It's not over yet, though. He's still got this fight, which, like I said, is pretty scary. So, if he dies here, he's gonna do all the again.
Not die.
Just not die, forehead.
The enemies constantly get stronger and stronger. He does have that health, though, which is gives him some breathing room.
Oh, that's really bad luck.
Oh, wow.
It's okay. He actually did the good attack here. There we go. All right, now we're fine. So we stand on here because these guys just kind of pull around all around us, which is nice. And they also explode on themselves and deal damage to each other. Very smart enemies. Oh, that guy's still there.
I was kind of surprised that they didn't fly up to you at all or float up to you.
I'm not going to complain.
Yeah, really.
And
We should check that.
there we go. Mission done. Now we can quit out and get out of there.
And so then from here on out, you're skipping like major sections of the game, pretty much.
Yeah. This is going to be like where a lot of fun stuff starts to happen.
Good luck with the frid.
Yeah. So we talked about objects. The clipping method is the same for most of the time, where you put an object over yourself and then you let go of it with your power and then you jump up and it pushes you upwards. It depends on the size of the object, what it is, like all that stuff, but typically it's relatively the same way. The fridge is a little bit different. Get ground slam, and I think I cannot get that yet. This is okay. I'll just have to be careful crossing the elevator. But this object is the fridge. For whatever reason, when you stand on it, it surfs you upward. When you're standing on it on console, it surfs you forward.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Don't know why. Yeah, I mean, it's kind of the same thing. It's air guitaring, basically, but you can do it with the fridge. So,
Interesting.
yeah. So right now what we need to do is we need to click through up there. So we need to take this object along with us, get it facing the right way. And then we need to just kind of... Hold on. You would have seen this earlier, but I got slidey. There we go.
Oh, wait, you
would've
did it with Whitey.
Oh yeah, I did. You're right. It actually went pretty well. So...
Nice.
This skips one whole fight, but it's a really long fight. And it's cool to do, so...
Oh yeah, this wall pushes you all the way up. Oh wait, no, not this one. When we come back here,
Next level. Yeah. I also have a ground slam ability now. At the cost of the rest of my energy bar, so it doesn't need to be full. Just needs to be a little bit of it. It'll expend the rest of my energy and allow me to slam into the ground. So it allows for a little bit faster movement in some areas. But here we learn that we get to the ashtray maze. It is a maze that is constantly changing and shifting around and moving. And we're told that it's broken. We got to go speak to the janitor. So we got to go talk to Ati because he has the keys to everything. Normally the game wants you to follow like a huge path, go out through a good majority of the facility. But we're speedrunners. We don't like doing that.
We like to blow up fork ropes and use the debris to clip out of bounds.
Yeah.
Speedrunner things.
This object, by the way, is like the best object to clip out of bounds with.
You want to
There's a
clinch scope?
Hold on, let me grab this.
Oh.
Yep. So right now what we're doing is we're skipping a lot of the game where we have to go talk to Ati and he tells us about different places. This is being really annoying today.
Yeah,
Come
we're
on.
skipping a dream sequence. This is usually the nicest object to clip out with.
Yeah. So right now what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to get on top of it so it clips me out of bounds, and then I'm trying to jump off of it like that. Oh my god, I fell back in bounds. I've never done that. This is being very weird today.
Wow.
Thankfully, this is like one that you can just, do constantly and refresh.
Yeah, do over and over.
There we go. So I needed to jump off of it to get to this height so I can come down here. All right. And now we're just going to kind of chill and float in the air. This is a precursor to another trick that we're going to be doing near the end of the game. But we're going all the way to those question marks. I'm using the map open to kind of have my navigation so I know where I am.
Isn't it nice of them to put that in the game?
Exactly. They can like moving while like you're using the map is like the best feature that they could have let in. All right, I have my timer with me, so 48:34, perfect. 49:34, 50:04.
So sorry to cut you off earlier. It's just this one's kind of tricky to explain, but so whenever you push that button, it calls this tram over, and you have to wait it out. There's fights you have to do while you wait, but we don't really need to wait for the tram. We can just dash all the way across. But the thing is if you go right away like he's doing right now, you miss a trigger, which you need to be able to progress. And that trigger isn't actually active, like you can't use it until 90 seconds after you push that button, like almost exactly 90 seconds. Oh, okay.
There we go. it was close, but I just didn't want to say anything.
Close, yeah.
Normally I have 7 dashes, but I have 6 at the moment, so it makes it a little bit harder, but we're fine.
But this is definitely dead time. Like you just gotta wait for this trigger.
Yeah. So if there's a donation or anything like that, now's a good time for it. Or if not, I can keep on talking. Right now I'm trying to mess with Boxy a little bit.
Yeah, you can just go ahead and keep going for now.
Cool. So normally it's 90 seconds. What we're also waiting for is we are waiting for a final enemy wave spawn as well. That will tell us. So we can go like right about now. They should be spawning in here in a second. Let's say miscounted. Yeah, there we go.
The trigger is just kind of
see the
out
red
there
line.
in the air.
And then right there, and we know we hit it when we get the multimedia in the bottom right. San Clarín Tango, here's Tango. Fun fact, the voice actor for Ati is Finnish, and he's like actually Finnish. And he's also, I think, an opera singer or something like that. He does a song for this game. That's pretty good. Also, if you're a fan of Quantum Break, not many people are. The voice actor and the person that they modeled her after for Jessie is actually a character from Quantum Break. So the cool thing about Remedy is they basically got a bunch of people from their old games to be in this game. So they literally said that they wanted an all-star cast for this game. And they definitely got it.
I heard this
Max Payne, Alan Wake.
Mention Quantum Break because you didn't mention it last time.
Quantum Break is a good game, but when you're known for making raid games, it kind of makes it look like a worse game. Because you just have all of those comparisons of this game, Alan Wake, Max Payne 1 and 2.
Not 3. Did they not make 3?
They didn't make 3, no. That was Rockstar.
Oh, yeah. That's right.
Interesting. Okay, this is the one I was alluding to earlier where once he clicks out, he's going to go into the wall and pushes him all the way up to the top. And if you're on the fence about playing this game casually, we're skipping probably the coolest part of the game casually, so definitely play this game if it looks interesting to you.
Yeah, this game has a few parts where it's just like, this is a power fantasy game as Cosmic likes to describe it, and this upcoming area is definitely a power fantasy area. But let's just say this game has really good music that's made custom for the game.
Oh, yeah.
All right. So we talked about this earlier. If you're in an object, it'll push you up out like as far as it can, upwards. So we get into the wall before it spawns in, and that allows us to get to the top of it, and then we can use this to skip that entire ashtray maze. You see right there down below on the map, in the yellow, all that marked out stuff. We're skipping all of that to go to the final area of the game. And we're using the map, this like convenient little graph line to lead us over there. Which thank God this is in here because it is pitch black.
Almost like they wanted us to skip it. I don't know. It's probably good that we skipped it. Such a cool game, or cool part of the game to experience yourself.
I was gonna say, if I made the ashtray maze, I would not want anybody to skip it. It's such a good level.
Yeah.
But casual players aren't going to skip it like this.
That's fair, yeah.
Yeah, at least the viewers like can keep the surprise of it, because we definitely skip a lot of this game. Also, another thing I'm doing is I'm staying up high. I want to hit that trigger, so then I drop down here, and this should just kind of open immediately. Like, the trigger's supposed to be in the middle, but you can hit it from up there, so it lets us move in the spot a little bit faster.
All right. The final boss fight, right?
Basically, this is the hardest area of the game. It's a fight that we have to do that we skip, basically. So I'm going to make sure that I have all of my good stuff.
Hope the enemies don't notice that.
Yeah, when Bucky was mentioning, like, this is, like, there was one area that was, like, the first area where you notice you're underleveled. This is definitely the area. If you didn't notice it before, you're going to notice it now, like, just how weak you are in comparison to where the game wants you to be, because enemies just absolutely shred you here.
There was a doorway to where
Yeah.
Dylan and I went
So,
with the projector.
essentially, this is the final area of the game. We have learned that the voice in our head named Polaris is a kind of an object of power, or like an entity like the board. And that she's been communicating with us from here. And she's actually a Hadron, the thing that has been protecting the people from the hiss. So we're trying to get into the chamber to free her and then use her powers to defeat the
I
hiss.
remember her from Ordinary.
That's kind of the best that I could describe it
I'd never seen
without
accidentally
like
let
getting
the
too spoilery.
We accidentally let the hiss in, and we have to
I'm coming.
save her, right?
Yeah. All right. I'm gonna let you explain all this, Bucky. Go ahead.
Yeah. So we have to
No.
basically hit all these siphons. They take about 5 to 10 seconds to interact with. And there's a whole lot of enemies that are going to really own us because we don't have any cool upgrades or whatever we didn't happen to pick up along the way. So he's trying to move in a specific way to manipulate the AI. And the AI manipulation is pretty consistent in this game. So as long as you move the same way every time, you should act the same way. But it's it all comes down to how closely you do the same thing over and over again. Sometimes, you lost what, four world record runs in a day
More.
in here?
Yeah. Also, if I get shot while interacting with this thing, then yeah, I die. Or like I don't die, but it takes me off of it. All right, this is the hardest one. No fighting satellite. I need to manipulate my camera like right that. I might have moved too early. That didn't look great. Come on, baby, come on. Yes! Oh, they were so nice to it. All right, so normally, like, you'll get interrupted on that fight, but we got really lucky, and we just completely, like, didn't have to fight them. If they hit you while you're on it, you have to fight all the enemies in that area, and it takes forever because you're so underleveled.
Let's stick that one. After getting shot, you gotta get off. He's gonna take out a few of these. We don't shoot him while he's on this one. Yeah.
Yeah. This game has one-shot protection, but it basically you can get shot in like 100% damage, and it'll do 99 damage instead. So it keeps you alive, which is nice.
All that means for us though is it takes only 2 hits for us to die.
Yep.
Instead of getting 1 shot, you get 2 shot.
This is, oh man, I hate this one because it's like, it doesn't usually happen that you get shot here, but you can. And we're good. All right. Time is actually going to be coming up here in just a moment. It's going to be when this final cutscene starts, and then we get to the credits. Whew, that was really good. That was almost as good as my PB, actually.
That was actually like a perfect Polaris, wasn't it?
And time. Whew, that was really good. That was like, what, a 56 RTA? That was really good.
Yeah, that's a great run, actually.
That's great. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh man. Sorry, I got a little bit of adrenaline. It's always scary because the no fighty satellitey thing happens. If you get hit on that, you're basically dead because you're normally like getting 1 shot, so you're like at 1% HP, and then anything touches you and you're screwed. And along with that, there's also what's going on here?
Oh, sorry. Was that time that I?
Yeah, but something's going on with my game.
You got tech difficulties? You good?
Hold on. I've never seen this before. I can't skip the cutscene. I'm normally supposed to skip the cutscene here, but it's not letting me. Can you guys hear me? My OBS just said my frame rate's dropping, or my internet's... What is this?
Oh, I can hear you. What's up? What's going on?
Hello? Hello?
This game's freaking out. Is his internet dying?
I don't know.
Anyone...
It looks like, I don't know. I think it looks like burning.
Turn in.
Burn in. Or burn out.
Uh,
Oh, wait, what?
Alright, I haven't seen this before.
After credits cutscene? Yo, is the
Okay.
game what did broke it?
Okay, so... I'm gonna Alt F4 here really quick because I don't know what's going on. That was a fake ending. This game
But the
fakes
game-
with an ending.
I like
game
how
actually
you-
broke.
Actually broke.
Yeah, it trolled you while you were trying to troll everybody else. Okay.
Yeah, so
I feel like that's
normally
just
that's a
karma, but
That's totally karma.
I've never seen that before. That's crazy.
So normally what happens is the game ends with you being invaded by the hiss, and you're like, what? Excuse me? That's how you're going to end the game, with the main protagonist losing? Are you kidding me? But then you realize it's fake credits scene and you have more gameplay. And normally we get to the really exciting gameplay stuff, but my game just broke, which I've never seen before.
Hopefully it saved your progress. I've never seen that happen there.
All right, we're good. We just need to
Okay.
teleport to the essential executive.
Wait, no?
So, yes, it did. It's fine. We just need to, when it happens like that, yeah, because I have the mission still for take control.
I didn't do the cutscene. Okay.
That's so weird, dude.
Aren't you just gonna go back to the CP?
No.
Really?
There we go. All right. We got some
Okay.
T-posing, and now we're back into here. So we've been invaded by the hiss, and we have very important forms to scan. I think my PC got invaded by the hiss there as well. I didn't like that I was kind of messing around with it. It's like,
Yeah,
hey, you had a
that's
great Polaris, the run killer, which has killed multiple world record runs. That was great. Here's a crash.
Yeah, you guys saw it first.
That's just a weird sequence break. Like, you spawned there completely fine, had everything, but then once you teleport back here, it actually just lines back up all the sequences. That's so crazy.
Yeah.
It's great.
Oh, there's the second scanner that he was using there is bugged, so there's no cooldown on it. That's why he uses the scanner twice. Because there's a
Yeah.
tricky cadence on the first one that's really hard to do optimally.
This is real. This is like, this game has been pretty fantasy for a while, so they want some realism. This is the realism. Tedious, arduous, boring office tasks.
Just wait, please.
Like picking up the director's mail, getting coffee cups, like not the fun stuff.
This was the most relatable part of the game for me personally.
Absolutely.
sorry.
You know, we have our evil twin brother over there. We have this guy freaking out. We have some weird stuff going on.
What is this?
The hiss's greatest signature mark is that its most powerful entity or host, I guess, is bald. I don't know what that says about the hiss in general.
They made him mauled so much that he just lost all of his hair.
He molded until he was powerful, dude.
Also, I'm gonna try something. This is kind of a new, but not really. It's just a swag shot. It saves literally no time.
You are getting close.
Yeah,
Yes, we got it.
nice.
So
Hold on,
normally it
hold on.
spawns us over there, but it spawns us here.
It's called a cutscene Noom because basically you mantle right when you're going into a cutscene, and it tries to teleport you where the cutscene starts, pretty much. Which, but it stops you on a wall, so it puts us right
yeah.
over by the tube there.
I will.
Well,
fight
what it
this.
does is
I will find
it
a way to
tries,
push that
it puts
out.
you where you are after the cutscene, but then it tries to teleport you to where you were mantling, and we got stuck there because the collision loaded in and caught us. Also, sadly, we lose our astral dive suit after we get invaded by the hiss. It was like, yo, this is too cool of a costume, so we're just gonna put you back in your regular skivvies, which is fine. But because we're actually near the end of the run here, apologize to Tech and the host. I think we gave you a little bit of a warning, but it can still be quite confusing. But,
Warning, and the game actually broke. So.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
then the game actually broke, which I have not seen before. But here we go. You know, I think you guys have earned a little bit of a cool cutscene right here, and we're gonna show you my favorite cutscene in the entire game. Get your sour please and your cat jams in the chat if you can.
I got an Emmy, by the way.
Mm-hmm. Also, for you Alan Wake fans, voice actor of Alan Wake right here did the live action scenes, did a great job. Apparently, they only filmed this stuff in like 4 days. It's great.
Hey, yo.
Also, the guy with him right there, say hello to Max Payne. That's the voice actor for Max Payne as well.
I didn't realize that.
But no longer in pain.
Minimum pain.
And Alan Wake is definitely not awake. Oh, that's great.
didn't get any control puns yet, so.
We haven't. Cosmic has been holding back. Last time he did commentary, I got very mad at him for making 50 puns in about 10 minutes. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, I was able to control it this time.
But
Ah, there we go.
the motel is a place.
You just couldn't control yourself.
Oh god. It's
All
like
right.
it's better.
So now what is happening is the hiss is attacking the board. The board is the entity from the house that has been on our side for the most part.
Coming
And,
up, it's
now we
definitely
have to save it.
your skip, right?
Yeah, the skip that I kind of hate the most. Not really. It's just annoying to miss it because, like, this part's pretty easy. So right now, there's supposed to be 3 last fights, and you're super overpowered. The enemies are level 30 when, for the most of the game, they've been, like, 4. But we're also overpowered as well. So, like, you get, like, no matter what, like, your abilities and stuff are, you can just one-shot literally everything. But that's slow. And these areas are actually loaded in. So what we're going to do is we're literally just going to fly to the very end.
Some safety mechanism that if you get far enough out, it just spawns in the next platform. And, you know, from that point, you can literally just jump from the last platform to the very end of the game. So time's going to be coming up pretty soon.
Yeah, like actual time, like real time.
No memes.
If I don't miss this jump, which I have missed this a lot.
Yeah, I didn't mean to call that early.
1, 2. So there's like a little hole in the geometry where if you hit it, then you're good. If you don't hit it, you're kind of screwed.
This is actually not an out of bounds flip.
We got it. We're good.
They just fixed it in current patch, so.
Yep. All right. So time is gonna actual time here is gonna be coming up, and when we interact with Dylan, save our brother from the hiss, and time.
All miscured.
Nice, that was a great run, dude.
Yeah, that was a 105.13 on my end for the RTA. I'm not sure what it is with the fake pause. But 105 is pretty good. Had to redo some skips, but otherwise, pretty golden.
It's actually crazy how your game broke there, too, because
That's so... I've never had that happen.
I've never seen that either.
Good thing this is on a fake run. Also, really quickly, before we end...
Yeah, bonus category.
Shawshank Redemption.
Yeah.
That's the name of the movie I was thinking of earlier. Not
Mm-hmm.
important.
Shawshank Redemption.
Yeah,
was
the
it.
Shawshank Redemption category.
Shawshank Redemption %.
But yeah, so thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the run. I had a lot of fun doing it. Thank you, Valuethon, for having me. If you want to find more of me, I'm going to be doing another run here in a minute, but I stream semi-consistently at twitch.tv/DemonicRobots, where you can see more of this game, and you can even check out some of the other categories like Inbounds or All Bosses. I'm going to be doing the DLCs soon. And this game is very broken in a lot of other categories, so make sure to check that out. If you guys, my wonderful co-commentators, would like to plug themselves as well.
You go first, Bucky.
Yeah, I'm just Bucky. You can find my Twitch and YouTube channel on the leaderboards and Inbound.
If you want to watch me play Devil May Cry or Vanquish or whatever, you can find me at DE Cosmic on Twitch and DE Cosmic Runs on YouTube.
All right, thank you guys for watching. I will be back here in a moment with We Happy Few, and I will see you next time.